What if I told you that your biggest financial asset isn't your savings account, your house, or even your investment portfolio? What if I told you it was your ability to unlearn? We spend the first couple of decades of our lives learning things: how to read, how to drive, how to do our jobs. But when it comes to money, the most valuable skill is often the willingness to challenge the very rules we were taught were gospel. We've all been given the same playbook, handed down from our parents and grandparents, filled with smart money habits that are supposed to guarantee a comfortable, stable life. Buy a house as soon as you can. Save your money diligently. Avoid debt like the plague. It's all sound advice, right? It feels responsible. It feels safe. But here's the scary part. What if that playbook is dangerously outdated? What if the very habits you're so proud of, the ones that make you feel like you're doing everything right, are the financial equivalent of building a beautiful sandcastle just as the tide is coming in? What if they're the invisible chains holding you back, secretly keeping you broke while you diligently follow the rules? We're going to pull back the curtain on 7 of these so-called smart habits. This isn't about shaming anyone. It's about upgrading our financial software. It's about realizing that the world has changed, and the rules of money have changed with it. Prepare to feel a little uncomfortable because we're about to challenge everything you thought you knew about being good with money. 1. Religiously saving every spare dollar. Let's start with the most sacred rule of all. A penny saved is a penny earned. We are taught from a young age to squirrel away money in a savings account. It feels like the ultimate act of financial responsibility. Watching that balance climb gives you a warm, fuzzy feeling of security. You're building a safety net, a buffer against the world. And that's a good thing, right? Well, yes and no. Saving is crucial, but saving exclusively is a surefire way to lose money over time. It's a concept that feels completely backward until you understand the silent thief, known as inflation. Think of your savings account like a bucket of water. You're proud of how much water you have in it. But what you don't see is that inflation is a tiny, invisible hole in the bottom of that bucket. Every year, a little bit of your water's value leaks out. That $10,000 you have saved today won't buy you $10,000 worth of stuff in 5 years. Its purchasing power is constantly shrinking. While you're busy celebrating your full bucket, the value inside is slowly evaporating. The truly smart habit isn't just saving, it's putting your money to work. It's moving it from that leaky bucket into a system, like low-cost index funds, that not only plugs the leak but actively adds more water. Playing it safe by only saving is, ironically, one of the riskiest financial moves you can make in the long run. 2. Obsessively paying down your mortgage. Few things feel as adult and responsible as making extra payments on your mortgage. The dream of owning your home free and clear is a powerful motivator. Every extra $100 you throw at it feels like you're buying a piece of your freedom back from the bank. You're reducing debt, and reducing debt is always good, isn't it? This is a classic case of good intentions with suboptimal results. Think about it this way. Your mortgage likely has a relatively low interest rate, say 3 to 5%. By paying it down faster, you are essentially getting a guaranteed 3 to 5% return on your extra money. That's not bad. But over the last few decades, the stock market has historically returned an average of around 10% per year. By taking that extra money and investing it, instead of putting it towards your low-interest mortgage, you could potentially be earning a 10% return. The difference between a 3% return and a 10% return over 30 years is astronomical. It's the difference between a comfortable retirement and a truly wealthy one. Your home is a place to live, but aggressively paying it off when you have cheap debt is like choosing to walk up a flight of stairs when there's an escalator right next to you that's moving 3 times faster. It's noble, but it's not efficient. 3. Buying a house as soon as possible. This one is practically a cultural mandate. Stop throwing your money away on rent, is the rallying cry. Buying a home is seen as the cornerstone of wealth building, the ultimate rite of passage into financial stability. Renting is for broke college kids. Owning is for successful adults. But this smart habit can be a devastating trap for many. A house isn't just an asset, it's a massive, illiquid, and expensive liability. When you rent, your landlord is responsible for the broken water heater, the leaky roof, and the property taxes. When you own, all of that is on you. The hidden costs of home ownership, maintenance, repairs, insurance, taxes, can easily turn your dream investment into a money pit. Furthermore, it chains you to one location. What if a dream job opportunity comes up in another city? Selling a house is a slow and expensive process. Renting, on the other hand, provides flexibility. It allows you to stay mobile, invest the money you would have used for a down payment, and avoid the unexpected 5-figure repair bills. Buying a house can be a great decision, but rushing into it because you think renting is wasting money is a fundamentally flawed perspective that ignores the true costs and constraints of ownership. 4. Focusing on cutting small expenses, the latte factor. We've all heard it. If you just stopped buying that $5 coffee every day, you'd be a millionaire. This mindset, known as extreme frugality, makes you feel virtuous. You track every penny. You use every coupon. You feel like a financial ninja, cutting out the tiny leaks in your budget. The problem with this approach is that it consumes all your mental energy for a tiny reward. You spend hours agonizing over a $5 coffee while ignoring the things that actually move the needle, your income and your savings rate. It's like trying to bail out a sinking boat with a teaspoon. 5. Always using a debit card to avoid debt. This feels like the ultimate safe move. You're only spending money you actually have. You can't get into trouble, you can't overspend, and you're not beholden to any evil credit card companies. It's the purest form of financial transaction. 6. Keeping a huge emergency fund in cash. Financial gurus drill into us the importance of a 3 to 6 month emergency fund. Having a pile of cash ready for a job loss or medical emergency is undeniably one of the smartest things you can do. So, if 6 months is good, then 12 or even 24 months must be better, right? It's ultimate security. Chapter 7. Over-diversifying your investments. Don't put all your eggs in one basket is the first rule of investing. So, the logical conclusion is to get as many baskets as possible, right? You buy a little bit of this tech stock, a little of that healthcare fund, some international bonds, and a few shares in that hot new startup. Your portfolio looks incredibly diverse and, therefore, incredibly safe. But there's a dark side to diversification, often called diversification. When you own a tiny piece of everything, you essentially guarantee that your returns will be mediocre. You've spread your money so thin that the big wins from your best investments are canceled out by the losses or stagnant performance of your worst ones. You end up with a portfolio that essentially just mimics the overall market, but with more complexity and often higher fees. True financial experts often advocate for a more concentrated approach. They don't mean putting all your money on one stock, but rather making significant, well-researched bets on a smaller number of high-quality assets, like a few broad market index funds, e.g. an S&P 500 fund. This approach is simpler, cheaper, and historically more effective than trying to own a little bit of everything under the sun. It's time to throw out the old playbook. The financial world is not the same place it was for our parents. Being smart with money today doesn't mean blindly following old rules. It means understanding the new ones. It's about recognizing that sometimes the safest feeling path is the one that leads to the slowest journey, and that responsible-looking habits can be wolves in sheep's clothing. True financial freedom begins not when you start saving, but when you start questioning. If this video made you rethink even one thing about your money, then we're on the right track. For more financial advice that challenges the status quo and actually works in the real world, make sure to subscribe and follow us on our social channels. Let's continue to unlearn the rules that hold us back, together.